the fight for social justice. Love being a part of it for sure, Patrick Duty.
I think it's great that they've kept it up and no signs of stopping. It's really great for the conference to continue to do that.
Speaking of no signs of stopping, the only guy that could potentially chase down, I don't think it's going to happen, MD, is Peter Mangione. He won it last year, and he's having another big-time year this year.
I know. It's honestly more of a credit to MD Myers and what he's been able to do, because Mangione's having a very, very similar year to last year, which is pretty incredible to think about.
You see Penn State leads the all-time series against Rutgers. 26th meeting, 17-8-0 advantage for the Nittany Lions. Jim McKeldry, incredible success at Fordham, where he started to make it routine for Fordham to get in the NCAA tournament. You see what he's done in 4 seasons, replacing Dan Donegan with the Scarlet Knights, a winning record. He does not want to rest on his laurels. He does believe there's still work for Rutgers to do to make the NCAA tournament this year.
I liked especially, too, how he talked about the importance of bringing New Jersey-based guys into this program and really establish that culture.
Penn State 5-4-4, 2-1-3 in the Big Ten. Rutgers 7-3-5, 3-2-2 in the Big Ten. Congratulations, by the way, to Brian Mazanoff and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Scored too early and then held on against an always tough Demon Rinsing team to win. So Ohio State with 3 big points over the Spartans. Rutgers deflected there. We'll go over the crossbar, and I think they may call it back for a corner kick. I do think it went off of Penn State. Jeff Cook, incredible success in the collegiate game, was last at Dartmouth, then went to the Philadelphia Union, arguably the best club in the United States for developing young players. I mean, the list is endless, and then you throw in the name Aronson and you're rolling. And he had that desire to come back, went into Happy Valley and said, this is home, and he's done an amazing job.
Yeah, the Philadelphia Academy Union is absolutely outstanding. You say Aronson, that name can be rattled, that list of names can keep getting rattled off.
Sent in by Rutgers. Shakes had the near post covered, and they're going to say deflected again.
There's our guy, MD Myers. We've been calling his name a lot. This looked like a set near post run by him. Just tries to get off the scoop. Stevenson with a nice block, but he's a threat at all times, even in the air at 6 foot tall only.
21 goals and 9 assists. It's interesting you say only, because he used to be even smaller but kind of grew into his body. So he had the great footwork, right? And then at 6 feet tall, Patrick, I kind of call him a unicorn a little bit, because he can do some special things. He can flick balls low and high. He can use his right foot, his left foot. He can do it all.
Yeah, I mean, there you see it's 7 goals, 1 assist in the last 6 matches. That's pretty wild. And Coach McKeldry did make a great note, which, you know, you don't think about often, but a lot of his scoring this year, it's only been about a goal a game. And I say that as a compliment, meaning that there hasn't been one game where he threw up a hat trick or 4 goals. You know, this has been a consistent performance the entire year.
Yeah, excellent point. Doesn't have like crooked numbers, just every game gets out there and gets a goal. Privet, who has battled through injuries all season long, which is really allowed Jeff Cook to kind of join the bandwagon, and he was already on it, but to push for that 21st century model.
Yeah, I think every year it's just going to become too enticing to not do it. I mean, these kids are showing that they can play at the next level, and at this point, playing this many games within 3 months, let alone sometimes 3 games within a week, it's getting really tough to watch, because the best players in the conference, we want to see them out there, and it's tough for them to be sustainable.
LeGuenic in that back line. Stopped right there by Brugi. Brugi from New Jersey, part of the PDA, which has produced so many great players on both sides, women and men. Tio. Gets it back to Avila. And now it'll come all the way back to LeGuenic. And they'll find the feet of Cole Crothers, a freshman from Portland, Oregon. Rutgers taking their time at the moment. Costa, middle of the field. That was Ben Liscombe, number 20, stepping in for a moment. Overlapping run coming, Rutgers. And one bounce to Chris Shakes. Tremendous buildup.
Oh, God, that may have been 15, 20 passes. And then you see Jackson Temple. I mean, this is your classic overrun. Right back, Thomas Avizo's coming over, bring on the defender. Stevenson can't do anything about it. The service was not the best, but a really good bout of possession there from Rutgers. So that was a good minutes long worth of passing.
Nice little tie-in. We talked about the Philadelphia Union. Marlon LeBlanc played soccer at Penn State, was the longtime successful coach at West Virginia. He is now with the Philadelphia Union following Jeff Cook. He coached Ian Abbey, who we'll definitely see off the bench, as well as Sean Bettenhausen, who we hope to see but is doubtful. And, of course, along with Jeff Cook, coached most of the Penn State team, as I believe there's 5 starters out there for Penn State that were part of the Philadelphia Union Academy. Femi Awadesu, the junior from the aforementioned Philadelphia Academy, but more importantly, the YSC Academy, because that's where they actually live, and they do a little bit of schoolwork and a whole lot of soccer and continue to grow. Privet. I feel like from day one since transferred from Duke, you've enjoyed Seth Kuhn.
I mean, even that pass right there, just, it's the simple ones going back to the center back, but instead, because he has the accuracy, he splits the top 2 Rutgers attackers. And I just love that his first thought, at least, is always forward. And it's not always the case, but when you have a midfielder whose first thought is to get the ball forward, doesn't have to ultimately go forward, but when you're thinking that, it's just really a joy to play with and make runs off of the vision that he has.
Penn State coming off a record-breaking season a year ago where they won the double. It has not been done that often, and they did it last year. And when they got to the Big Ten tournament, they did not allow a goal. The double is out of the picture this year, but the notion of this team getting it together with everybody back healthy, you get Bettenhausen back out there, this guy Privet starts to get a little healthier, they're going to be a tough out.
Oh, 100%. I mean, don't forget Shakes. Don't let a goal in the entire postseason. A lot of that's due to him and the center back pairing between Awadesu and Watson. And there's just a lot of really skilled guys on this team.
They try to play it to Liam Butts, who is starting to heat up at the right time as well. You saw those numbers on MD Myers. Liam Butts has scored in the last 2 games for the Nittany Lions, and the tackle there from Privet. There's Liam Butts, last 4 matches, 4 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, he's been, and I've really enjoyed watching him this year because, the freshman year he comes in, he's putting in a bunch of goals, which is obviously great, but now just watching him really turn into a complete striker. The way he holds up the ball, very similar to Myers, just versatile in a lot more ways than just scoring.
Switching the point of attack, Avila. It'll fall to Van Danielson getting the start, the redshirt freshman from Columbia, Maryland, Mount St. Joseph's High School. Trying to hang on to it, Zielinski. Liam Butts, in addition to those numbers, and of course Mangione, last year's Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, sometimes it looks like he's not even trying, and yet he gets it done.
He does have kind of a sneaky athleticism to him. He just glides.
Good pass inside the 18. And here's Mangione. Butts wanted the whistle, didn't get it. Little doubleheader of men's soccer on the Big Ten Network. The Buckeyes beating Michigan State 2-1 to start the day, and that'll move Ohio State up to 14 points, 1 behind Maryland, as we're at Jeffrey Field, University Park, Pennsylvania. Home to Peter Mangione and the Penn State Nittany Lions. And yes, he won the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year a year ago, but as we talked about on the call with Jeff Cook, it's more than his goal scoring. It's all the other things that he does.
I mean, yeah, the stat line itself is pretty remarkable. And the fact that he's doing this after his campaign last year, but I think the thing that really strikes me with him is just that kind of cold blood that he has. You know, big games, he always just seems to show up and does it kind of theatrically with some of his finishes, but he's certainly a guy that everyone on Penn State, no matter where they're at in the game and what the score is, it's a guy that they look to.
Rutgers, for the most part, this game being played inside the 18s here. Good sliding tackle from Femi Awadesu. Stevenson, so versatile, played right back when we saw him the other day. Now he's playing left back. He can play center forward, right wing, left wing. Temple, smallest guy out there, but perhaps the biggest heart. Five goals, 6 assists, 16 points for Temple. Kuhn's going to bring it back to Shakes. Liam Butts. Butts so good at playing it to himself. An incredible goal against Indiana after a great pass from Mangione. He comes up limping just a little bit as it's ripped away in the back line. The man who got it was the Gwennick, and that's who's on the ball right now. Olu Ogunwale, the transfer from Michigan State. And Privet is taken down. Seth Kuhn has it taken away. Two shots for Rutgers. Penn State still looking for their first. Neither team has been dangerous. As you see, 0 shots on goal. Rutgers has had 2 corners. All things considered, pretty good weather. It's not shirtless weather, yet there is a shirtless fan over there. There's always one for the great supporters of Penn State.
God bless college soccer.
Van Danielson making a good run. Van Danielson. I just kind of like saying that name, Van Danielson.
This was an unreal turn from Van Danielson. I thought for sure he was going to flick it with the outside of his foot. He, at the very last moment, changes his body, traps it with the inside, completely shakes the Rutgers defender.
Thomas DeVizio was the defender that cleared it away after the shake from Van Danielson. The Penn State Nittany Lions winning the Big Ten tournament a year ago, knocking off your Indiana Hoosiers.
Pretty compelling fashion as well. Look at that pass.
Myers gets it out wide to Avila. Teo, a senior from Randolph, New Jersey, part of the New York Red Bulls system. And Teo will get it back. LeGuenic. Once again, Van Danielson. He had one good run earlier. Nice run here. Takes a shot. Why not? Oh! Knocked away right there. Rutgers has finally settled in on their goalkeeper. It's Kieran Dalton who makes a big save.
This comes from a really sloppy pass from Zielinski. Just not great form, and credit to Van Danielson, picks it up. Butts tries to do the overlapping run. Van Danielson just keeps it on his right and puts a nice little strike on it. But that's one that, you know, once it's finally out of play, everyone then kind of looks at Zielinski and, you know, says, what's going on there? So it was pretty uncharacteristic. He didn't have to. Well, he could have easily slotted in, but hey, it happens. Credit to Van Danielson for jumping out and having a nice run.
Kuhn over to Privet. Privet, really good ball. I like that they were looking for Van Danielson. Patrick, you've been around the game long enough where Van Danielson, not your household name, but he's got that look in his eye. Are you with me?
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, how could you not? This is an unbelievable opportunity. You're getting good minutes on one of the last games of conference play. Last game at home for the season for Penn State, and he's off to a really nice start. That was another great through ball from Rutgers.
Yeah, tremendous through ball to Tio. Oluogunwale tracking back.
Yeah, and this is just really well done from Avila. That's the left mid going to the left back. Tio coming around. That's really well executed from Rutgers, and we've seen them now go at both sides, between Temple and Divisio on the right, and then Avila and Tio on the left.
Alongside Patrick Duty, Dean Linke with you for the second of two on the Big Ten Network. Happy Valley, Jeffrey Field, longtime home to the Penn State men's and women's soccer teams. Penn State in their dark uniforms, Rutgers in their white. Still looking for the first score in this game. What do you make of this low line right now from Penn State?
It's funny that you mentioned that. It's kind of been that way for both sides. That's why we've seen so many nice bits of possession. A lot of it's been sideways and back, but you know, each team's showing patience. But yeah, it's, you know, the line's starting about half field for both sides so far.
Rutgers, good little spin. Temple, can he get it inside? He sends it all the way across and through the 18. Now to be cleaned up by Tio. Tio with Liskim on him. Knocked out of bounds. I thought maybe Tio was going to leave it for a corner kick. Instead, he keeps on playing. Rutgers shakes. Will take care of that shot from Crothers.
Yeah, Shakes is complaining about the offsides. That I think he had the right argument for it. Is Tio should have, personally, in my opinion, just let that go out for a corner kick. But either way, they play on, and Crothers did strike that well. But if you're gonna hit it at Shakes, it has to be to the side, because he'll catch everything within, you know, a foot of his hands.
Kept alive by Mangione. And Rutgers wins it right back. Let's take a look at the keys as we talk to both coaches, Patrick Duty.
Well, relax and compete for Rutgers. That's definitely made sense. Connect and combine, defend set pieces. Then for Penn State, turn the page, minimize mistakes, press, press, press. That's the one that I don't think we've seen so much for yet. We saw Van Danielson strip, you know, the play a little bit earlier. But I think it's more they're just going to wait and pick and choose their moments on when to press, and when they do, it seems like it's going to be a collective effort.
Tempo. And corner kick coming for Rutgers. That was all Tempo on his own right there.
That's a scary feeling having number 12 Temple running at you 1v1 in the box. Stevenson, I think, does a nice job there trying to hold him up defensively, but you can see that Temple to Myers combination. It's clear what's coming. Temple gets end line, tries to find the run of Myers, and Penn State's done a nice job box defending from it.
Cole Crothers taking the corner kick for Rutgers. Top of the 18, and Shakes has it.
We've seen Shakes a lot this year, and he's got that big arm, so we see it there.
Yeah, we've seen that long throw. We've seen him throw it further than that.
Definitely, and that's what that's where, especially I guarantee you, Coach McKeldry has talked about in film. But if Shakes comes out and catches anything in the air like that off a service or a cross or anything where he's able to gather it and pick up some momentum, he's going to chuck it and try to find Mangione or Butts.
Good look there, Jim McKeldry. Jim McKeldry and MD Myers will kick off this Thursday's United Soccer Coaches podcast, which will also feature Jeff Cook, the top man for Penn State. Far side, punched away there by Dalton. Good work by Kieran Dalton. He was splitting time with Ori Briscoe, but this is now his 11th game. Briscoe with 5 games. And it looks like Dalton has firmly established himself as the starting goalkeeper for Rutgers.
That was a heck of a save. It was a deep, of course, on-point service from Seth Kunis. Here's Stevenson looking to do the same. And yeah, wonderful save by Dalton.
Privet. Ogunwale. Good save right there by Femi Awadesu. Butts is offside.
Look at this corner again. It's a really nice service. We did hear handball, and I think Rutgers has the right to say that. So it looks like Liscombe, he's going for the challenge. I know we all heard everyone screaming. It was hard to tell at the time, but I think it's tough. I mean, you're trying to get your body positioning right. Naturally, your hands go up as you're going up against someone, and sometimes that ball can knock your hand without you even knowing it.
Good look at the replay. I think it supported what you heard. Nonetheless, no whistle. We play on, zeros. With 22 minutes remaining. Notre Dame just tied Michigan. Michigan and Notre Dame tied at 1 right now. Tremendous work by Awadesu, and Shakes will pick it up. Indiana leads Evansville 1-0 at halftime. Maryland 3-0 over Delaware. In other games being played right now as we are walking our way to the final weekend. And that will include a Saturday tilt, high noon, UCLA and Rutgers. A rematch of a national championship game, 90, when Ziggy Schmidt was loaded with all the members of the 92 Olympic team and the 94 team, taking on Alexi Lalas and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. Van Danielson, Seth Kuhn. Kuhn somehow was able to trap that ball.
Anytime that ball gets recycled out, where Rutgers is able to clear it or whatnot, if that lands to number 10, Seth Kuhn, his first thought is going to be to pick his head up and try to find another through ball from all of his attackers. That's a wonderful challenge. That could be off on the break here with Mangione.
Mangione taking that from Liam Butts. Butts will drop it over now to Privet. Privet's got Van Danielson. Here comes the overlapping run from Stevenson. Stevenson, very much an attacking player, can serve a pretty good ball, finds Liscombe, then Butts. Top of the 18, and Rutgers will try to go the other way. That was better work, though, from Penn State collectively.
Definitely. Yeah, great overlap from Stevenson. Great job on hitting a crossing with the left foot. Credit to him. We talked to Coach Cook. Just a versatile player. You know, it's not easy to go from right back to left back to forward to right mid. He can do it all.
Turnover midfield. Rutgers trying to get a numbers advantage right here. It's 5-on-6 at the moment. Rutgers wants to go. Temple drops it off. Wide open, top of the bottom. Yes! What a finish there from Matthew Acosta. And it's 1-0 Rutgers.
I mean, this is how you have a counterattack. I mean, you get the pressure in there. You're off to the runnings. Gets it out to Temple. Dribbles at him. Dribbles at him. Finds a nice little tight pass, and then Acosta does a wonderful job to sit at the top, ask for it, gets his feet set, and rips this to the back post. It's easy to be impatient there and try to cover the space and cram it. Does a good job keeping his distance enough for the pass to be weighted perfectly, and then he does the rest with the strike. As Shakes, who can pretty much stop anything, has no chance at that. Incredible, incredible press from Rutgers, and that is the, just perfect way to go on a counterattack and take advantage of the early steal and getting numbers up top.
Yeah, they had numbers even, basically, and the last thing you want to do is wait for Penn State to get blue jerseys back. They didn't wait, and then Matthew Acosta, who's got 3 assists, scores his first goal of the season. If you remember on our call with Jim McKelder, he said in many ways, because of where he sits as that 6'8", he might be the most important player on the team. Well, that most important player just made it Rutgers 1, Penn State 0.
Nice little call from Coach there. That's just spectacular. That's the way to keep going with the play. From that 8th spot, you're kind of just basically hovering and seeing exactly what's going on. And at the very last moment, if there is time to then kind of creep up towards the top of the box and be an option for a one-time shot, then that's basically the role that you have there, and he does it perfectly. Credit to Rutgers for being patient there. I know it's a counterattack and it's going quickly, but it's very easy to kind of find the first option that you see and just go with it. But for Rutgers to then, that counterattack end up with a back pass, really good stuff.
Mangione. Back to Kuhn. Kuhn now. If you're open, he'll find you. He finds Mangione. Kuhn. And that will go right to Dalton. McGuenick. MD Myers checks back perfectly. Now Rutgers feeling it on the right side. Temple. McGuenick. Well, look at Rutgers right here. We're going on almost 20 passes together.
It's probably the 3rd time this match that we've seen them have a bout like this. We just mentioned patience in the counterattack. Certainly patience in the buildup. Now with the 1-0 lead, it's way too early to be talking about running out the game, but it's just a nice job showing spacing, and it's obviously showing, too, that Penn State's comfortable with this.
Brugi looking for Myers. The pass was off. McGuenick traps it, and they'll bring it all the way back to Dalton. Dalton, a freshman from Pearl River, New York, and Pearl River High School, another player that is part of the New York Red Bull system. Teal makes the overlapping run. That frees up some space in the middle of the park there for Brugi. Brugi, a transfer from American University, as we are walking our way to 16 minutes remaining here in the first half. Penn State it's been the case all year. They're missing key players. Bettenhausen, a key player, out for this game. Rutgers, far side, and knocked out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick. Safety first there from Ogunwale.
Really good again. So that was another great bout of possession, but here we see it. I mean, we talked about the counterattack. Brugi does a wonderful job having the composure to know, you know what? I hear my teammate going to me. Obviously, Costa's used to the Scarlet going right where the camera is, but credit to Brugi for not trying to turn into pressure, but also just hear Costa's voice and know how to roll it back at a certain weight.
Good look there at Brugi as another corner kick here for Rutgers. Penn State with 0. Fourth corner of the game for the Scarlet Knights, who lead Penn State 1-0 as we are now under 15 minutes remaining here in the first. Corner kick sent across. You can hear Shake say keep. It'll then fall to Kuhn. Butts, yep, Butts earned that whistle. All right, Patrick, we're going to ask Jeff Cook, and we'll see what his answer is compared to what your answer is. What does Penn State got to do here to get the equalizer?
I honestly don't think too much more. I mean, they've played well. It's been, I'd say possession's probably 60-40 Rutgers if I had to guess. I think Rutgers, despite the goal, they've been more dangerous with their opportunities. I will be interested to see if he, one of his keys was, press. Let's press, and it clearly hasn't been the case so far, which I'm sure was talked about right before the match. But maybe now being down a goal, do we talk about that at halftime, considering if it's still the same score? But this Penn State team is so loaded, and you still have Kuhn and Mangione and Butts and Privet. I mean, it's a team that you're never going to count out. Here's Butts, great turn,
and Butts has that deflected back. Sunday, stream men's soccer live on the Big Ten Plus app as the regular season concludes when the Nittany Lions take on the Wolverines. There's no plus like home. Download the Big Ten Plus app and subscribe right now. Michigan has retaken the lead against Notre Dame. That could change their season and give them all kinds of confidence going into that game that we just publicized. Rutgers, just like that, back into the 18, shakes with a kick save. Now Penn State needs to go. They can't do it, though. Mangione had one man to beat right there, and give Chris Teo credit.
It's a wonderful step as he knows Mangione is right about to turn, but Rutgers just continues to put pressure on, and wonderful through ball. The goal scorer, Costa, trying to pick up his head and see it cross. At this point, you're right there. Might as well give it a go, and that was also going in. Great kick save from Shakes.
6 shots now for Rutgers, 3 to Penn State. 4 on frame for Rutgers. All 3 on frame for Penn State. Rutgers 1, Penn State 0. 12 minutes remaining here in the first half in Happy Valley. Seth Kuhn on the ball. And I feel like if you're Rutgers, if Seth Kuhn is anywhere on the other side of the midfield stripe, you're cool, you're good. Right? You want Seth Kuhn way far away from the goal.
No doubt about it. I mean, again, just pick your poison.
Stevenson starting a left back. Again, came in as an attacking player and has adapted so well. Liscombe. Mangione was open.
Yeah, I think everyone at the stadium probably heard him say cut it. And Liscombe, he does a nice job with the half turn. Because that was probably an underhit ball here from Kuhn, but Liscombe does a nice job trapping. But look at number 8, Mangione. I mean, he's just naked right in the middle of the box. Second leading goal scorer in the Big Ten. defending Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year, you got to do everything in your power if your list come to just chop that ball back, even if it's a blind pass. You trust the voice. As Mangione then would have been there, probably able still time to take a touch with his head up right there from distance. You like those chances of him finding the back of the net.
First and second ball starting to go the way of Penn State now as their urgency is there. Meanwhile, Rutgers brings in Abbey, and this young man, who's also part of the Philadelphia Union, can play. We got a collision here. It'll be a whistle against Ogunwale and stay with Rutgers. MD Myers has gone out.
Yeah, just a little bit careless there from Ogunwale, but I will say this. I've really enjoyed the match for one reason, and that's there hasn't been really any nasty challenges. It's been a pretty up-tempo game. Just pretty clean football for the most part.
Yeah, I think that's why we're already under 10 minutes. This game is flying along. And you're right, it's been a joy to call and see here with Rutgers with the 1-0 lead. Man from Norway gets his head on it, number 17, Ula Malin.
Seaton shakes his eyes every single time he gets a lofted ball like that, and he's able to grab it out of the air. The first thing he's looking to do is what can we create right now from the box, whether it's via my arm or my leg. Can we catch Rutgers off guard with a deep pass from Shakes?
4 shots faced, 3 saves for number 1, Chris Shakes. That was Jeff Cook's final comment. We always give the coaches a final comment, and he stepped up talking about how Chris Shakes, part of it was composure. That was one of his big things. Ogunwale tries to run it down, he does, and pulled out of there by Dalton.
Credit to Ogunwale for even getting to this. Privet with a nice little through ball. Little steep. Tries to get the backspin to check up on it, but if Dalton's not on his completely dialed in there, that's a dangerous service.
But they bypass Kuhn and bring it all the way back. Rutgers 1, Penn State 0, 8 minutes and change remaining here in the first. We talked about the fact that both these teams would love to finish in the top 4, and the reasons are obvious. You get a home game to start the Big Ten tournament. 8 of the 9 teams make the Big Ten tournament, and the highest seed continues to be the host all the way to the final. As Mangione drops it brilliantly, Privet. Ogunwale hit that one.
Penn State does a nice job here. Mangione does a wonderful job waiting. Privet lifts it, trying to find someone back stick, as all the numbers were to the middle and near stick. And Ogunwale, I think, being in that position before, you're kind of in a, do I want to have a go at it? Do I want to just try to knock it back in? Before you know it, it skips up a little high and your foot's hitting it, and it's not the way you had planned it. But again, if the service on both sides has been a little bit iffy, if you can do anything with power to glance up right before you're going to hit that ball in, just to see any jersey that matches your color, you give yourself a chance.
Kept in bounds by Rutgers. Referee lets him play on. Butts, good little move! And another big save. Liam Butts with a nifty little move, forcing Dalton to parry it away.
Butts does a wonderful job here. I think he gets away with a little deflection. Oh, it might have been a clean move, you're right. Then he tries to bend it back stick. Great, oh, more near stick than it looked like. I think he was maybe trying to go back stick. Either way, that's why, you know, he asked about how do they get back in the game, just try to find number 7.
Corner kick. Yeah, 3 extremely hot players in MD Myers for Rutgers, and then Butts and Mangione on the other side for Penn State. Tempo is fouled, so it'll come back to Rutgers, as now we're under 6 minutes remaining in the first. Maryland sitting in first at 4-0-3. Indiana at 12 at 3-1-3. Those two teams will face each other Sunday. But the Buckeyes now at 14 points with a chance to go to 17 on Sunday when they're at Wisconsin. Neil Jones starting to rack up some wins for the Badgers. They may have something to say about that. Just like that, Abby can hit it, folks, and he does. Oh, and he scores! 2-0. Abby has scored off the bench and in.
Welcome to the game, Abby. This comes from a set piece that took a while. I don't know how Brugi is able to be that unmarked, but either way, Abby gets it, dribbling right at him, cuts it to his right, nice little window. Just unfortunate for Shakes. That takes a nasty little hop right before it gets to Shakes' hands. Right there. And you see the ricochet right from the ground. It's a perfect strike. Shakes is saying, hey, two things. One, keep him out wide, but secondly, if we're going to bring him in, someone has to step up to him. That was just too easy from Penn State, but well done, Abby. He doesn't have many touches.
No, he's a big-time player, though, part of the Philadelphia Union, so Coach Cook knows him. As I mentioned, Marlon LeBlanc, who played at Penn State, coached him right before he headed to Jim McElderry and the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. And the third goal this season. He's a guy that could easily start, but bring such a spark off the bench as the freshman from Elmer, New Jersey, part of that YSC Academy with the Union. Third goal of the season for Coach McElderry, and it's 2-0 Rutgers.
That all stemmed, if you remember, Zielinski was sitting on a free kick, maybe a few yards ahead of Dalton on the other side of the field. So that gives you a lot of time as a defense to be aware of where everyone's at. So the fact that he was able to drill a 40, 50-yard ball right to Brugi turns, passes out wide.
Flowers wearing 16 into the game. Mangione can do it all by himself and somehow finds Butts. Butts trying to stay with it. Butts is going to earn the whistle. That was pretty much Mangione the whole way, and then a little extra help from number 7.
Yeah, those two have to really come to play here. Is Mangione just says, "Give it to me and back off." He's essentially just manhandling people. Does a wonderful job getting it to Butts, and then Butts is fortunate enough, does a good job with his body, gets the half turn, draws the foul right there. It looks almost a little bit uglier than it is at the end, but Mangione, I don't know if you saw, but he went right to the ball, and it's going to be either him or Kuhn right here, as this is point blank right in the center and the top of the box.
Great look at the eyes of the youngster, Kieran Dalton, the freshman goalkeeper who has now secured that spot. And sounds like you're thinking right foot of Mangione. You sticking with that, dudes?
So.
Nope, it's Kuhn with the left, and it's parried away by Dalton. You were hedging last minute.
I like to wait until the very end to make sure I'm 100% right. So that counts. That's a push. It's a push. Even bet. But yeah, Kuhn's trying to bend it around the wall, as that's what he's so good at doing. Dalton's already pretty much there, and it still shows how hard it is to stop. I mean, you're essentially a few feet away, but that ball comes in so quickly. It's shielded. It has the perfect skip like we just saw with Abby, how hard it is to stop that. But the fact that they have Mangione or Kuhn is great.
Speaking of great, Dalton, 5 shots faced, 5 saves. And remember, he was splitting time early, but now the freshman has established himself as the top man. He's got those baby face looks, but a strong game wearing number 31.
He's been dialed in. I mean, you remember that first save within the first few minutes.
Seth Kuhn, Liam Butts. Ooh. Stevenson knocked to the ground. Joey Zielinski, and they'll just play on. Thought there was a little shoulder there.
I'm with you. I think Stevenson gets his body there. Zielinski was a little too tough.
Patrick Duty, you have had a lot of great lines over the years, but the Mangione, just give me the ball and back off, was another epic Patrick Duty line.
Yes, let's focus on that as opposed to me not knowing who was going to take the free kick. That sounds
I thought
good
it was
to
a
me.
great line.
Thank you.
Here's Kuhn. Kuhn looping it around. As far as I'm concerned, you never locked in Mangione, so you're good. Your line and credit is still flying. Here's Shakes. Off the head of Liscombe. I'm not sure if he meant to do that, but it turned out to be almost perfect. Instead, Rutgers has it, and Rutgers will try to work down these final 2 minutes with a 2-0 lead. Thomas DeVizio, the grad student from Scotts Plains, New Jersey, another player from that PDA system. Abby. Abby, what an impact off the bench. Nobody home that time. I actually thought Shakes had that shot on Abby, but he had so much pepper and sauce on that ball that it got through Shakes.
Yeah, and our crew did a great job showing that skip. And, you know, we talk about it a lot, but that's really, that's when you're striking it like that, especially at night when there's a little bit of dew on the ground, it's just so hard to stop as a keeper because you're in the right spot and it just bounces right in front of you. And Shakes is one of the best shot stoppers in the conference, so that just shows, you know, the difficulty on that. And the pace, to your point, of Abby just getting his laces right behind it and cracking it.
And so, Patrick, I think part of the story here with 30 seconds remaining is they held MD Myers in check, but they still trailed 2-0. That hurts a little bit.
For sure it does. Yeah, I mean, they took out Mr. Big Ten goal scoring leader of the conference. Got to the point where not even in the game anymore, early sub, but yeah, Rutgers came to play and they capitalized on the opportunities that they created.
So Jeff Cook, who has had to deal with too many injuries to count, including more coming into this game, and at the half it is Rutgers 2, Penn State 0. A+ from Acosta and A+ from Abby. Part of the story right now is Rutgers is on top. That man right there, Acosta, scored the first one. If Rutgers back out there in their white uniforms, feeling pretty good with a 2-0 lead. Penn State in their dark uniforms. It certainly would help for Liam Butts to get on the ball as well. The man can make things happen. Fantastic goal against Indiana. Fantastic goal against Ohio State for Butts. Second half underway. Jeffrey Field, as we're in University Park, PA, on the campus of Penn State, also known as Happy Valley. Certainly happy times right now for Rutgers, as Rutgers with a win would tie Penn State or tie Ohio State actually at 14. The difference is Rutgers would be done. Ohio State still has a game in hand at Wisconsin. It's important to keep that in mind as the other game on Sunday, which will be featured on the Big Ten Network, Maryland at Indiana, which will play a key role in the final seeds as well. Maryland sitting on 15, Indiana on 12. Maryland basically controls their own destiny.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are, at this point, it looks like they for sure will have locked in the 4 seed, but like you said, 3 points secures it. The championship, that is.
Seth Kuhn, Stevenson making an early run. Boy, nothing like a corner kick within the first minute of the game for a team down 2-0.
I love that Stevenson decided to stop his run and hit this inside with his right. So the more opportunity that you give number 10 here, a chance to dial in free corner kicks, the better.
Seth Kuhn. Back of Butts and picked up there again by Dalton, who's having a career day. He had a career high 5 first half saves. His overall career high is 7 saves against the Buckeyes. I would say he's on his way to a new career high, and to me, he looks like the real deal.
Yeah, he's been locked in from the very start. You know, the scoreline says 2-0, but Penn State has had opportunities. Butts got through once, Seth Kuhn had a nice free kick. And he's going to have to remain that way because the fact of the matter is with the talent Penn State has, especially their attacking 6-7, you just have to be locked in the entire time.
Butts made National Team of the Week, was named the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week on October 11th. Meanwhile, Peter Mangione is tied for second in the conference in goals and third in points. Privet back out there, not 100%, but trying to fight through some foot injuries. Liscombe has it taken away. Privet looking to win it back. There's Butts with a tackle from behind. And Butts will get a yellow card as he left his feet.
This was a tough challenge. Butts is right behind him from the start, so no matter what, it's looking like it was going to be a yellow. You hate to see the hook slide, but he's just trying to make sure that he stops the counterattack. And credit to Malin for getting his body right in front. Glanced back, made sure that he knew what he was getting into the second he looked back, and did a good job at getting one of the stars on Penn State a caution.
So yellow card to Liam Butts, as you saw those pictures for senior day. Some of those seniors that we saw, though, still have the opportunity to come back with that COVID year. So perhaps a couple of those players that we saw right before the start of the second half will have 2 senior days, as that has been a common theme because of that COVID year. Here's Shakes. Penn State, some quality wins this year. They beat number 18 West Virginia 3-2 here in Happy Valley. And another hard tackle here. The Rutgers bench not happy. Oh, that was as loud as it's been right there.
Yeah, and hopefully this is just a yellow, because really there was nothing intentional here. Even if it is a yellow, I would have to admit, okay, yeah, it is a yellow. I'm glad it's just a yellow because there was nothing intentional here, but Watson has a careless touch, and at that point you're trying to do everything you can to get the ball back, and that's about as vicious as it can get in terms of sweeping your legs through and making contact with the player. But again, if the touch is clean, none of that happens. There's no ill will. It's not like he's trying to go out there and disrupt a play. He's just trying to make sure that he saves this poor touch.
Yep. Well said. So only a yellow to Watson. Crothers over the ball for Jim McKeldry's team. The freshman from Portland, Oregon, as you see Chris Shakes directing traffic.
He's just going to try to sweep this right between Shakes and the penalty spot.
Crothers. So you can see already they're getting ready for Penn State, Ohio State football.
Let's go.
Which, yeah, it's going to be rocking at the Beaver, which is right behind Jeffrey Field. They're already ready for some big-time tailgating. Here's Liscombe. Liscombe in and denied again. Go ahead and have a blinder there, Dalton, with another save.
Dalton just swats it. A huge save from him, Liscombe. Man, that one's going to be tough because that was just a classy little build-up from Penn State. Mangione to Butts. Butts with a wonderful through ball to Liscombe. Liscombe's touch, we'll have to take a look at it again. It got a little bit away from him. Regardless, though, Dalton does a great job just getting his palm up there. See Mangione, brilliant little touch through. This touch here, just a little bit too far, has to extend, can't really find placement, but Dalton still, I don't care, that's point blank right off the palm.
Remember, to start the season, they were alternating games, Dalton and Briscoe. And Dalton has earned the job. And let me tell you, today, 6 shots faced, 6 saves. He has more than earned the job. He looks the part, too.
Looks the part. Look at that distribution right there. See, now you can tell he's in the zone. I mean, not that he wasn't at the end of the first half. He's completely locked in now. Takes that ball with a guy coming at him, sprays it other side of the field, doing everything.
So Abbey is down.
Butts does a great job flicking on Mangione, just a class pass, and it's a little bit easier said than done. You know, maybe you hit it one time. Regardless, though, Liscombe does still catch a clean strike on it, so that's why I say for you to get your palm on that and have it still stay right in front of you, it's perfect goalkeeping.
Middle of the park. Abbey thought he had earned a throw-in. Instead, they'll say off of Abbey, and it'll come back to Penn State. I do want to point out, by the way, on that yellow card, one thing I think the referee is aware of, I'm not positive, but he's not a dirty player. He's only had one yellow card all season. So I think that also has to be part of the process. I don't know if it is or not, Patrick, but I think it is.
I would think they pay attention to that. I mean, they don't track those for no reason. I mean, once you hit a certain number, you have to sit out a game. So I fully agree with what you're saying. And
I mentioned that because if you had just showed up and watched that tackle, there are some referees that would have put a different color out there.
No doubt about it. I mean, it was a vicious challenge. I mean, that doesn't, no one likes to see that. But like we say, you know, 99 out of 100 times Watson has a clean touch. We never see none of that,
right.
happens. You
I
know,
thought the referee handled it well and
sure.
Move along. And the fact that it's only his second yellow shows that he's a really clean player.
Second yellow from a center back too.
Right.
Which even says more about, you know, the way that he likes to defend and the clean style that he does. I will also say too, the fact that, and we touched on this in the first half, it really has been a very well, you know, challenged match. There hasn't been too many emotional plays in terms of challenges and tackles, which I think also plays a factor when, you know, if there was a few cards going in the first half, that challenge could have maybe resulted in something different.
Excellent point. And the player that we're talking about makes the run. A little bit of heartbreak city for Shaka Daly and the Wolverines. They led 1-0, they led 2-1, but they fall to Notre Dame 3-2. Meanwhile, Maryland with another non-conference win, 4-1 over Delaware. And Indiana and Evansville tied at 1. Try to find Liam Butts. McGuennick wearing the 4 jersey. Long throw in from Stevenson, and a good one. Oh, a swing and a miss from Liscombe. Perfectly executed throw in, kind of like what we saw from Indiana against this Penn State team. And knocked out of bounds. It'll be another corner kick Penn State.
Yeah, perfectly executed is right. Wonderful little flick there. Liscombe, another good opportunity. A tougher one, I will say. Just does it a little bit too much of a swing, but I love that he keeps his head down, gets the cross back in there, keeps the play alive. Thought almost a push off of Awadesu, no call.
Tremendous clearance on that corner kick from Rutgers, and now they can go with numbers. You see Privet, who started this, comes all the way back. They send it long. Acosta. Ooh, good cut by Stevenson.
That is some unreal. Ooh. So Stevenson's going to say also, hey, this was from behind. What gives? But that was more on the side. But Stevenson, for what it's worth, that was a wonderful little chop challenge. This is just awareness to be able to use his right foot on the inside and turn it around. And yeah, that's more side to side than it is from behind.
Liscombe. Sent out of there by Rutgers. What a job both these coaches have done in the last few years here, both relatively new, 4 and 5 years respectively for McElderry and Jeff Cook at Rutgers and Penn State respectively. Penn State winning the double last year. If Rutgers can get a win here and somehow knock off a highly ranked UCLA team, I think they put themselves in a good spot regardless of what happens in the Big Ten tournament.
Yeah, I think so too. I think the resume at that point is too strong.
Those are a lot of ifs, though. A
lot of ifs. But isn't it funny? I know that all these games are equal, but it seems like at the end there's always a little bit more importance to them, especially the out-of-conference ones.
Liscombe. MD Myers. Like I mentioned, he can do it all, including a traditional check back, true number 9. There's Myers as he drops it over to Malin. Aronis, Malin. If you're just joining us, both goals coming in the first half. Acosta and Abbey, the goal scorers for Rutgers. Not MD Myers, who leads the country with 13 goals. Penn State has done a good job keeping an eye on him, but Rutgers has all kinds of talent everywhere. Here's a shot deflected off the back of Stevenson. The shot coming from DeVizio, one of the players on the back line. Zielinski. And press still. Now they're starting to come forward. Now it's time, I think, right, for Penn State?
Yeah, well, Coach had said at halftime, you know, with Rutgers being as good as you are, you can't leave too much time. So I think 30 is probably pretty fair. But then you're at risk of this happening. And, you know, once it hits 3, then it gets really tough. So good for Penn State. You see all their numbers get back. You know, you reset up, you get in your block formation, and then the second Rutgers goes back, let's see what happens and if we see the press again from Penn State.
McQuennick drops it over to Abbey. And Abbey will check it back. Always great to be alongside 2012 national champion Patrick Duty from the Indiana Hoosiers as they drop it over top and it'll roll out of bounds. Jeff Cook, the top man. Rutgers with 2 first-half goals.
2 beautiful goals at that. This was off the counterattack. Costa, I mean, you dream of this. Ball rolling right to your foot, your laces through like that. Especially as a D-mid, that's outstanding. And then, you know, talk about the importance of just coming into a game and making a difference. That's what Abbey does here. He gathers it. It's the first time really touching the ball all match. Cuts in. Penn State doesn't get enough pressure on it. Cracks it with his right.
How about that side of the foot pass from Brugi to Abbey as well? That was pretty sweet.
It's gorgeous. See, I mean, that's a textured outside the right foot ball, you know, sideways. You could see the spin on it. A lot harder than it looks.
Cohen Weaver going to check in for Liscombe. Butts stays out there. That's DeVizio that stepped in, trying to defend Butts. Both players wearing number 2. Michael Gaines will come in for Van Danielson. Weaver wears number 15. Here's the long throw from Stevenson. He had a great throw a moment ago. Nice flick. And right down in there was Michael Gaines, number 14. And like Liscombe earlier, he could not make contact. Penn State does win it back.
And I think at this point, if you're Penn State and you get a throw in near that range, you have to, you know, commit the extra 30 seconds to get it set up because it's showing that it's dangerous.
Butts, good idea on the layoff. Stevenson keeps it alive. And Rutgers will send it out of bounds. Seth Kuhn. Wow, Mangione, how did he do that? What a brilliant chest pass. Are you kidding me? It just takes a special talent for that kind of pass.
Here I am talking about how they should keep doing the long throw, but if you get to Seth Kuhn, you do it. But Mangione, I mean, the fact that he's able to angle that right off his chest, I mean, that's a perfect setup for Weaver. I mean, you're leading him right in stride to shoot it, taking a bullet of a cross from Seth Kuhn. Those are those combinations, though. You know, you find Butts and you drop it back. You find Mangione, you drop it back. Weaver, I know he just entered the match, or at least the second half, but if you can find those target plays and make runs off of it, you're going to continue to get chances.
Mangione, only a junior. I would not be surprised. It does not affect their eligibility, but with his talent, he could be invited to the combine and then make a decision afterwards. He is a next-level player, without a question, in my opinion.
Completely agree. Whether it's straight to MLS, which I think it could be, or even the level below, and that's the beauty that it's set up now with the combine invite. Not locked into anything. Get there and then make the best decision for yourself.
Well, like Seth Kuhn was the 73rd pick a year ago for the New York Red Bulls, so he can make the decision. His eligibility is up, so he can head to the Red Bulls and see what he can do.
How great is that, though? You get drafted by a team, you get to come back, finish your degree, most likely, in whatever
Second
you're
degree.
doing. Okay, second degree. It's a little different in the Duty family. We were just trying to scrape out the one, but regardless, so you come back, you get to keep playing with your teammates, solidify whatever you're majoring in, and then knowing that, hey, I've accomplished this much, and now after this, I get to go complete my dream. It's pretty special.
By the way, folks at home, Patrick Duty is underselling as he was able to get his degree quicker than most in order to move on for 3 great seasons in MLS. That's not easy to do either, as Rutgers trying to add to their 2-0 lead. Rutgers with Shakes taking care of Divisio. Tremendous run by Thomas Divisio, but Shakes just said, get that out of here, or something along those lines.
Yeah, Shakes, we just talked about Mangione taking one off the chest. Talk about fearlessness. Oh, this is always an interesting little play here because you got Abby right in his face. Ogunwale has the ball, so he technically can make the argument, hey, I'm trying to make my throw in. The guy's interfering with it. It's hard to tell. Usually, though, this comes with a little bit of theatrics to it, but you never know. So like we said, Ogunwale gets it. You're down 2-0, you're trying to get moving. At that point, he's still off the field. Clearly throws it right at his head, but he didn't necessarily chuck it at his head. Hopefully the ref, in my opinion, just says, you know what, we play on. But Abby, though, to Ogunwale's defense, Abby is making no effort to get back on the field. I mean, he's standing right in front of him. So he's off the field there, still off the field. There's the hand. Gonna play a little basketball here. And the hand up probably is what triggered Ogunwale.
Then the roll around was a bit much. So if Ogunwale gets a card here.
Oh, if anything, it should be the other way around. You know. It's one thing if you're standing in front of a guy, okay. But then when you go back to actually throw it and put your hand up, then it's like, all right, you know what? Then the roll around, obviously. I don't think anyone was really buying that.
Ogunwale's always been a big personality player, but I don't think you can hold that against him, as he basically was saying, all right, young man, you scored a goal already. Now get out of my way. I want to try to throw it in here.
Yeah. I mean, not 28 minutes left. There's a lot of game to play. Let's see what we got. All right, good. It's looking like no card, at least for Ogunwale. No card across the board. All right.
All right, play on. Long throw in from Ogunwale. Costa will play it back. Costa with a dream game, first goal of the season. Angled pass picked off there by Rutgers. Ula Mayland now finds the feet of Aronis. Randy Aronis, a senior out of North Brunswick, New Jersey.
Nice little through ball. Privet does a really nice job, though. Right off that touch, getting his body in front, drawing the foul.
Aronis was having a conversation with Gavin Weiss in his 4th season as the associate head coach for Jim McKeldry. Stevenson, also on the Rutgers staff, Taylor Stakowitz. What a check back right there from MD Myers.
So Aronis draws 2 fouls there within about 30 seconds. So I assume he's getting a quick talk to saying, hey, next one's probably it in terms of getting a yellow, as that's a late challenge on Stevenson.
Final score in Evansville, Indiana and Evansville, 1-1 tie. Tomorrow, a spectacular women's volleyball doubleheader begins with the 11th-ranked Nittany Lions against Illinois. Then it's a national championship rematch as Nebraska battles Wisconsin in a top-5 showdown. Coverage begins tomorrow at 7 Eastern, powered by Unleaded 88, only on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Rutgers looking to make 2 changes here as Jackson Temple, Brugi came in for Aronis. Randy Aronis will head to the bench, and also looking to get into the game is Pablo Avila. Avila from Spain. Here's Abby and Ogunwale. We already saw them kind of mix it up earlier, and Ogunwale says it's corner kick time. Well done by Ogunwale.
Yeah, really nice play from the fullback there. Takes a delivery from Seth Kuhn, pumps up a little bit, and then just says, all right, let's go speed on speed. Abby does do a nice job defending it, but Ogunwale ultimately wins the battle. See what Penn State can do here with Seth Kuhn's delivery.
Seth Kuhn, 3 assists on the season, looking for 4. Yes, Mangione has pulled one back. Seth Kuhn, Peter Mangione, and it's 2-1.
I mean, we keep saying it's what we keep saying. You got Seth Kuhn, you got Mangione. You can never take a break. Obviously, great service from Kuhn. Mangione, just being the goal scorer he is. You know, sometimes the ball just finds you when you're a goal scorer like this, and that's a perfect example of that. Mangione's sitting there, ball drops right to him, sure thing, 2-1. Rutgers over Penn State, but it can happen so quickly with this Penn State offense.
8 goals and 2 assists on the season for Mangione. Last year, 7 goals and 4 assists for the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year. Any other year, he'd go back-to-back, but this year it's the year of MD Myers, who's also on the field. 8th goal of the season for Mangione, 1 more than he scored last year when he won the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Year.
He just does it in so many different ways, and you know, that one it just shows the completeness of this team. You know, Ogunwale takes it, gets the corner kick. Not to sound repetitive, but seriously, with Seth Kuhn, it's just automatic. It's every single time you're giving your teammates a chance to score, put a ball in a dangerous spot, and it ends up right to Mangione's feet. But you can't say enough about the consistency of those deliveries. Man, in those spots, it's tough when you're out there isolated. Everyone's looking at you. So for him to just get up there every single time and rip it right into the box in the same area, it's really impressive.
Yeah, big-time talent. 1 year at Duke, 4 great years at Penn State for Seth Kuhn. And Penn State is far from done here as Temple comes in. Seth Kuhn to Stevenson. How does he do it? And that almost led to another goal that you would have to credit number 10 again.
We went from having no fouls to now a few here within the last few minutes. Is this one, we talk about the through ball, but Stevenson does a great job, gets his head down. Hard to tell. I mean, the fact that it's yellow, it's a little confusing to me. It looks like, if anything, he gets the ball first. And if he didn't, then maybe you just call a foul, but for a caution there. I don't really agree with that one. I don't think Coach does either. You're looking for stuff like this. It's all right, he gets even with it, so now it's not from behind anymore. Stevenson gets across. Again, it looks like it's ball first.
He got the ball.
If you catch some foot, you can make the argument, but either if you catch foot, then you just call a foul. You don't give the guy a yellow. I think it was a fair challenge, though.
Jeff Cook is the kind of man, I can tell you, in my opinion, in the most heated situation, you still couldn't get upset with him, could you? I can't find a situation where I could ever get upset with that man.
It's always just so genuine, and, the delivery that he gives is very consistent. It'd be interesting to see how he is out in the training field, getting on someone.
Well, what's interesting, I told you that he's going to be on this week's United Soccer Coaches podcast, and one of the questions I wanted to ask him, because he's had this incredible experience, right? Great success in Cincinnati, great success at Dartmouth. Then he says, wait, I want to be involved in the pro game. Goes to the academy, develops all these amazing players, many of them that come there. He gets the itch to go back to college soccer, falls in love with Happy Valley. So I said, hey, what's your message to other coaches that are dying to be where you are? And he said, don't try to be a Pep Guardiola or a Klopp or somebody you're not. Just be you. And if you're a calm person, be a calm person. He didn't say his name, but I feel like maybe he was talking about himself. He said, just be you. And if you be you, good things will happen. I love that commentary from him.
That's awesome advice. And how true is that? And that's why, that's why you see the success. And I mean, just as a former player, I would love the opportunity to play for him. As he's true to himself, and that rubs off on the guys that he's coaching and teaching.
Rutgers trying to pull one back. Temple sends it across, shakes with a little spill, but picks it right up. The former baseball superstar, which is another reason why he can throw it so far. And Butts, side of his foot. Could still find Mangione and almost did. Wow. Mangione came running and almost found that pass from Butts. Another collision here as MD Myers holding the back of his
Watson.
head.
Yeah, Myers and Watson both going up for it, and hate to see that, as that was clear contact on both of them. I think they both went up straight up. Nothing ugly or unfair, but it still hurts a lot. Hopefully they're all right, but we just saw the Butts play. Look at this pass from Seth Kuhn. Inside the foot, whips it right over Divisio, right in stride of Butts, who has a great outside the foot right cross. As we said, Mangione comes out of nowhere, almost gets to it, but he does it with the service, from set pieces, but the fact he does it in the run of play. So hopefully these guys are all right. Yeah, it was Watson, one of their leaders. Knowing him, as soon as he gets all cleared out, he'll want to be right back out there.
Sam Ovison, a freshman from Fort Collins, Colorado, Fossil Ridge High School, did check in for a little run, but you're right, it won't be long for Jalen Watson, the junior from Toronto, to get back in there for Coach Cook. MD Myers also going through the concussion protocol. Will try to come in next opportunity. Femi Awadeso sends it long. There's Butts. So there you see Ovison into the game. Seth Kuhn, another brilliant pass. Even if short passes are brilliant, as you mentioned earlier. Butts over to Privet. Now Stevenson. Stevenson back to Liam Butts. Good ball, squared. Nice tackle inside the 18 as Linsky left his feet and it worked out. Oh, and Myers wrapped up there that time with Femi Awadesu.
Looked to me like their feet got tangled here. Awadesu comes over. A little push from behind. So Myers was going to trap that and control it. It's a decent tactical foul, just to make sure Myers doesn't get in the turn, but this is a nice little area for a set piece here.
Brugi, we probably not talked enough about the quality of his service as well, as he and Acosta have been solid. Brugi looking for MD Myers. Myers, you got to be careful not to dive in on him. There he is, drops that back pass. And one back by Penn State. Wow, well done by Myers. That play right there might be the biggest reason why Myers won't be back next year at Rutgers, because he does have that decision to make as well. But with 13 goals on the season, your stock is really, really high. I expect him to head to the pros. Yeah,
that's going to be I would agree. I think it should be pretty set in stone, but obviously Rutgers would love to have him back. But 13 goals, but also the other things he's doing. Oh, that's a nice little turn from Brugi.
Yeah, Brugi. Brugi, boy, he can hit it from there. Elects not to. Really unselfish. Butts. He's got Kuhn on his right. Butts. Butts takes the shot. Don't blame him there. There was nobody open, so he went ahead and took the shot. Good tackle.
Yeah, if I was Seth Kuhn, I would have maybe tried to just distance himself from Butts, spread out the field, give Butts a little bit more opportunity to cut it back in, as he kept his run pretty narrow. Which kept all the Rutgers defenders right there with him.
Yeah, because two things can happen. One, he can now have the space, or maybe Kuhn's open.
Sure.
And then he can do a little give and go.
Find Kuhn. Kuhn then has space to be 1v1, but the second you can bring your defender away, it gives Butts just more options.
Divisio. Under 19:30 remaining in this one. Penn State has pulled one back here in the second half. And we've got a game here. Divisio. And it is interesting because one thing Jim McKeldry said was, one thing that Rutgers has done this year, and what has been a really good year, is they've turned wins into ties and ties into losses. And right now, if Penn State can come back and tie it, it would be the former, and they'd be sitting on the edge of the ladder. Can you follow all that?
Yeah, I followed that.
All right, cool.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I mean, it's cliche in soccer, but can you go the full 90? I mean, they had a great first half. This half's been a little bit more even. They've given some really good opportunities to Penn State. But he's still in a great spot. You got 18 minutes with the lead.
And I think why I added extra emphasis is because there's no overtime now. So those final minutes where you look like you've got a tie, or you look like you've got to win, and then boom, it goes away.
Exactly. Yeah, it does take a little bit of that strategy, knowing that you're not going to be able to play for that extra 20 minutes or that golden goal opportunity. But let's come back on. Gains out.
Decent shift by Gaines. I saw him active in the 18. We also saw in the first half Quentin Flowers, a freshman from Nashville, Tennessee. This young man, Brugi's been really good as he'll find Temple. Temple takes the shot himself. He'll come back to Shakes. Boy, you remember when he broke on the scene and he was even smaller, right, as a freshman, and the little man got it done.
Yeah, he came in and made a real loud noise, the impact he had. Still just so dangerous when you dribble at him. I thought that was real well done from Watson. Trying to push him right, and if anything, if he comes in on his left, then at least that's his weak foot.
Rutgers, just like that. Avila gives it up. And Crothers dribbles into traffic.
Avila wanted the 1-2 with Crothers there. He did a great job penetrating. Crothers just one touch too many.
As Rutgers builds this out of the back, they started the season with a win at Omaha 4-2, then fell to Creighton, tied Princeton and Yale, got 4 wins in a row against Rider, Albany, Northwestern, and Wisconsin. They tied Jim McKeldry's former team, Fordham, tied Ohio State, fell to Maryland 2-3 as Butts is on it. Tied Indiana, beat Stony Brook, fell 4-3 to Michigan State, and beat Michigan 2-1 in their last game. Great ball in. Liscomb, oh, what a save. Liscomb has been so unlucky tonight. What a save once again from number 31, Dalton.
It's hard who I want to give more credit to. The pass from Privet, the trap by Liscomb, or the save by Dalton. I think it has to be Dalton ultimately, but really good play from both sides there in really important phases of the field.
Divisio takes that back pass from Temple, and now we'll try to get it back to Temple. Temple has the pace to get to it. Temple. Brugi. I like Brugi.
He's had a great match. He's been a part of both their goals. You know, he had the outside of the right, and he was at the hold-up play off the counterattack to drop it back to Acosta. If they're counting hockey assists, he's got 2 for the night.
Woo! Hogan Wally, nifty little move. Ian Butts, ever present. Wow, this is great transition from Penn State. Seth Kuhn. Butts, good trap. Liscombe's got to be ready, he does. Good pass over. Watson, denied there by Temple, but Watson's still on it. Liscombe.
Penn State's really coming at him. Another corner kick for them, but what we just saw earlier, look at, first of all, this pass from Privet. You know, am I going to shoot it? Boom, laces, 15 yards on the ground. Liscombe with an awesome touch, but Dalton, are you kidding me? Look at this pass, by the way. I mean, that's how you find the guy. Powerful save from Dalton. He's done it now, going down to his right, down to his left.
That save ties his career high of 7. That looked like a handball right there. Instead, they're going to say another corner kick.
Another great corner kick. Looks like Liscombe was going to it in that one.
Zielinski.
Penn State, yeah, you see Penn State make the argument.
Yeah, it looks like it fell off of Zielinski's hand, but headed away by Temple was Seth Kuhn's corner kick. Got a little bit of collision in the 18 and a yellow card, and that'll be a red as the second one. So Femi Awadesu is now out. So Femi Awadeso sitting on a yellow will be sent out. And just when Penn State was cooking there to look for the tie, this will make it tough on the home team.
There's always, mashups like this when the cross is coming in. So it had to have been really selling for Awadesu to have to draw a yellow card. See him here, he completely wraps him. Ref's right there, pretty point blank. Feel for the kid, because there's always, you're locking arms, you're just trying to get in position. But when you wrap him and pull him down, that clearly, and he has to know that he was already on a yellow.
So that will mean he will not be able to play in the last regular season game on Sunday at Michigan.
Now it looks like we're potentially going to double check this to confirm. Didn't know that you could do that for yellows. I mean, you could do it for reds. So hopefully someone makes sure Femi doesn't go to the locker room and take off the cleats just yet. I will say it is somewhat rare to call a yellow on these plays where you're not even near the ball. Again, these are the bigger guys on the team. They're just trying to jostle and find position. Usually if one arm's hooked, it came from either a mistake or potentially even the first guy that didn't get called for the foul hooking the other player. And then it's just the last thing that the ref sees, and then he makes his decision. So at least review from this standpoint hopefully gives Awadesu a chance to have a little bit of life in being able to come back into the game. The foul's going to stand. It'll just be a matter if it's a yellow card. The yellow for the red.
Yeah, and it appears that it's going to stand. As Awadesu is done. So Penn State playing with 10 men, and Awadesu will be out against Michigan. And we got 13 minutes remaining in this one. So Penn State will finish the game with 10 men. Maryland will play Indiana on Sunday. They're at 15 points. Ohio State at 14. If Rutgers can hang on, they will move to 14. Indiana at 12. That would be your top four teams if this scoreline stands. Michigan State, who fell to Ohio State, will stay at 10. Here's Temple. Dropped over to Myers. Myers! Looking to add to his 13 goals.
Give this kid one sniff at it, and it's going to make him count. As this one, he just drifts on it, or just bends back slightly too much. Still, though, you can see the pace on that shot from Myers.
11 shots for Rutgers, 10 for Penn State. So again, if the scoreline stands, Patrick, Maryland will head into Sunday at 15, Ohio State at 14. Rutgers will be all done as they'll play UCLA on Saturday. So Awadesu was a straight red, by the way, as here's Butts, Privet. Rutgers trying to stop 9 straight wins versus Rutgers. as you start to think about those seeds, remember the top 4 teams with those home games. Head-to-head results is your first tiebreaker. Then you go goal difference between goals scored in all conference games. Myers, good tackle by the rookie, one back by Temple. Temple stays with it. And it'll come back to Penn State. So a quick look at the standings. So Rutgers, if they can hang on, will be tied with Ohio State, but Rutgers is done. They have no more games, as the other 8 teams will play on Sunday. And a couple games to watch. You think about Michigan right there. They'll have Penn State coming in without Awadesu. Rutgers combining, and then Northwestern will be at Michigan State. So if Northwestern can somehow beat Michigan State and Michigan loses, it would be Michigan out, Northwestern in. The third tiebreaker is comparison of total goals scored in all conference games, so rewarding great offense. The fourth one, best record by points, and then I know you wanted to break down the final tiebreaker.
So the last option, all right, so it's a coin flip. Okay, so I should be able to understand that one.
These are the Sunday games.
That's what's so fun about this conference, though, is that, you know, here we are on a Tuesday, only 1 game left after this for most of these teams. And there's still so much to play for.
There may be a card given later. At the moment, the referee playing advantage. So much to play for, because you definitely do not want to go on the road for that first tournament game. Butts puts enough pressure. That would have been massive right there. And it would have gone back to what Jim McElderry said about Rutgers. The only sort of sticking point is turning wins into ties. Here's Temple. Brugi looking for Myers.
Plus, too, whether it's deserved or not, there's something a little bit more painful about being up a man and then giving up the goal. Usually it's something, you know, believe it or not, it's sometimes tougher to hold on to a lead, because Penn State, I mean, they got nothing to lose. It's go time. They're down a man. Let's just press. So even though Rutgers is up, sometimes it can be a little more difficult to hold on to, you know, this 2-1 lead.
Let's go, boys. Let's go, boys.
Here, Coach McElderry just saying, keep passing it, keep passing it. This is the right direction, but Penn State's going to start squeezing them out.
Mangione to Kuhn. Now Butts. You give it back to Mangione, and I'll tell you what, that might be better than a coin flip, right? Mangione taking on everybody. As you said, get out of the way. Great line earlier. MD Myers.
Hey, get out!
Right on the whistle. And that one, Butts, well, there he is on the ball. So good for him getting back and getting that after the turnover. But if he was able to turn, he's got a slot pass right into Mangione, who's proven that game's on the line. He's ready to put in the net, as he already has once tonight.
Kuhn still with a lot of space. Now Privet. Patrick, if Penn State can find Mangione somewhere in and around the 18, this one is far from over.
Completely. I mean, as we said, that goal that they got kind of came out of nowhere. You know, granted it was off a set piece, but if Butts on that one, when they look back at the film, if he just takes it, as opposed to trying to flick it, if he just takes control and does a half turn like he's so good at doing, got a nice little bout with Mangione. Get a service in here.
Ogunwale goes down, and Ogunwale has earned a free kick. You can see Teo believes it was clean, and it's not. It's a yellow card, according to the referee.
I think Teo may have been the one that you said, based off of the hold, couple minutes ago. I think it may have been him as well, but Ogunwale's done a wonderful job tacking down this right flank. Obvious
he
foul.
lifted his foot up, yep.
Yep. Brushed it up, studs up. Credit to Ogunwale. Remember, he's the one that drew the corner kick on the first goal for Penn State, which set up Seth Kuhn's service, and here he just draws the free kick, which again is going to set up Seth Kuhn's service in an even more dangerous spot. Hence the look on Coach McElderry.
Exactly. The hair is longer, but it can get grayer with these kind of situations for sure. .559 is a mountain of time.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Even when you're down a man in these spots, you don't really notice it because you're just going. You know, if you give up another one, you give up another one. But it's just go time, and that's why for Rutgers, it's not even that much of an advantage. The only time it can really become an advantage is once Penn State just simply runs out of gas.
So this is, he called this a straight red. I just don't know. They just got tangled up, didn't they?
Again, I know that probably made it a little bit confusing thinking it was a second yellow, but regardless, for that to be a straight red, like I said, I don't know if there was something early on. Maybe there's been something that the referee was looking at throughout the match and he had gotten some warnings. But usually those jostling moments, it's hey, you two take it easier, separate. If it's really bad, you get a yellow, but the fact that it's a straight red makes me lead to believe that it was maybe something stirring up throughout the match.
All right, so Seth Kuhn wants to talk to Liscombe for a moment.
I don't think you try to get too cute with this. You got him on the ball, cross it in. If they try to do something special, maybe it's because he's a little too close. And then you maybe look for something at the top of the box. A little trickery, but if I'm Seth Kuhn, I'm just ripping this right into the spot.
Yeah, too much trickery. Basically, he told Liscombe to make a run to free up space for Privet, but it was read perfectly by Rutgers.
Yeah, that's kind of what we had thought. If you're...
A little bit of collision there as Stevenson comes in hard. Stevenson also has a yellow card. The collision between Stevenson and Zielinski.
I mean, that hurts a lot, but that's not... I don't know exactly how Stevenson is supposed to attack that ball any differently.
Well, it was Dalton that hit Zielinski anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but that was the set piece, though. It's tough because the angle, it's, Kuhn knows best. He's out there, and he's, potentially fielding, messages from coach, but when the service is that good, I just think whip it in and see what happens.
Yeah, like I said, watch, it's the goalie that hits Zielinski, not Stevenson.
Stevenson goes up for Dalton, comes from behind. He's the one that's lunging in. Zielinski just happens to be the odd man out there, being right in the middle of that sandwich.
The last time Rutgers was successful in beating Penn State was September 6, 2013.
Oh, wow. It's a nice little stretch there.
So Zielinski looks to be okay. Focus of our State Farm State of Success. Kieran Dalton, now the firm starter, has tied his career high with 7 saves on 8 shots faced, and he very well could be the difference in this one if they can hang on.
Yeah, I think he could make it, a nice little campaign for goalkeeper of the week, to be quite honest. He's done it in a variety of ways, off service, low shots, high shots. when he hasn't been able to catch him, he's done a good enough job at deflecting it in the correct spots for his, his front or his back line to clear the ball. And then there was really nothing he could do in the Mangione one. I mean, it drops right to him. It's point blank.
Yeah. Always great to be alongside Patrick Duty, 2012 national champion for the Hoosiers, as Rutgers going to make one more change here. Boy, that first half flew. This second half has been really choppy. It's included a goal and a red card. But really tough trap to make, and he makes it anyway. Privet. Now at some point, Mangione needs to find the ball. Jim McKeldry, next opportunity is going to bring in Ulla Malin, the junior from Norway. But Mangione pinging it around. Oh my!
He's always just hawking. I mean, he's just right there at all moments.
Penn State has no choice, down a goal, down a man, to let it open up, but it almost paid off. And I'm telling you right now, if they can get the ball back one more time with those players on the field, Kuhn, Mangione, Butts, and everybody around them, even with Awadeso off, Penn State still believes they can do it. Good little shift here off the bench, as Sam Ovison hasn't played much, and he'll get the whistle. Well done.
Really done from Ovison, but yeah, look at this. Doing well, a nice ball in. But, I mean, are you kidding me with that flick? And right there, I think he, it's tough when you're coming, you're going towards the end line, you try to get your positioning behind it. Unfortunate, but yeah.
Dude,
whatever you can do, just get the ball in there.
Yeah, how about that ball from Ogunwale to get it in there?
Get the ball in there. At this point, it doesn't have to be pretty. You just, wherever you're at, if you have space to lift your head up and get a service in of any sort, you do it.
He's been good.
He's been really good. Like I said, he's been great going up the flank. Here he does a nice job just recognizing, all right, let's just get in there, find my target in Butts, and know that Mangione's going to be running after it. That is really close to working out. And it also could have fell right to Liscombe. So I'm saying, just get the service in, just get it in. Anything can happen once it's in there. We saw it on the corner kick.
Clock is stopped. Tio, Randolph, New Jersey, Randolph High School, New York Red Bulls. Van Danielson coming back in. I like this change too. Liscombe's been solid, but Van Danielson, another guy that seems to find good spots in and around the goal. Keating will come in for Divisio as Jim McKeldry with the man advantage, making some changes to try to lock this down in what will feel like a long 3 minutes, as Danielson Rutgers with 11 shots to 10 for Penn State, 8 corners for Penn State, 4 for Rutgers. As Rutgers trying to get their first win over Penn State since September 6, 2013, a 4-1 win on the day. Ogunwale just slipped, really unlucky there, because he was getting ready to whip another ball in there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I was ready to see that service.
Temple. Overlapping run coming from Rutgers as they'll try to head to the corner. Brian Keating. So you think about the last win, Rutgers was not even in the Big Ten. They popped in with Maryland in 2014.
I was in the Big Ten at the time more than Rutgers was. It's a statement win.
You know, it's interesting, too, and I know I talk about this all the time, but you won that national championship in 2012, then you had to win the Big Ten tournament. This time around, Sasso Swarovski said, and remember when they came in their first 2 years, they were doubling up, which is what they had done in the ACC prior to, and Sasso put a refocus on winning the Big Ten regular season, winning the Big Ten tournament. But I really feel like any of the 8 teams could win this thing this year.
Oh, yeah, this year more than any other, it really does feel that way. I'm with you. Well, last year you kind of got the sense that Penn State was going to do it.
And they smoked
and then
through.
They did it.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't give up a goal. But this one seems pretty up for grabs, which is why this top 4 seed is just so important. It gives yourself an immediate chance to get through to the next round.
I thought they might wait for Stevenson, but they don't have time to wait as Privet sends in. Here's Privet. Ogunwale, far side. Oh, and you know what? He did not need to lead with his hands. Because of that, that is going to do it. And for the first time since 2013, even before they joined the Big Ten, Rutgers has ended a 9-game losing streak against Penn State, and they are very much in play. The Rutgers Scarlet Knights wrap up